We both have something in common. You do not know what I'm going to say, and neither do I. People we work or interact with might differ from us in age, ethnicity, ideology, and vary in numerous ways. Anyone can relate as to why communication can sometimes be difficult. Many theories have been proposed to describe, predict, and understand the behaviors and phenomena of which it consists. Especially in business, we find ourselves less interested in theory than in making sure our communications produce the desired results. But in order to achieve results, being wise to what communication is and how it works can be a precious item. If the process you are going about is not one of understanding and sharing meaning, then I'm afraid it's not communication, or at least that's what the Latin word communicare refers to. A more accurate definition in my estimate would be the attempt of engaging in understanding one another and sharing meaning. We are only humans after all. In any case, the process itself is a dynamic activity that is hard to describe, because it changes drastically. Say you are in the kitchen talking to your mom. A friend whom she had invited is also someone that you have never met before, and all of a sudden enters the kitchen. What has changed? As this stranger listens intently as you speak, your perspective might change, and you might choose your words more carefully. The feedback or response from your mother and the stranger, who are in essence your audience, may cause you to re-evaluate what you are saying. When we interact, all these factors and many more influence the process of communication. Understanding is an essential factor to communicate. MacLean says that to understand is to perceive, to interpret, and to relate our perception and interpretation to what we already know, which strives to come from a place of curiosity. What often stands in the way of understanding of each other is lack of interest. It's hard to listen to anyone if you are not curious or disinterested in what they are about to say. A good listener always tends to pay attention to everyone's perspective or viewpoints. The best way to bring that about is to be intrigued, to enter a conversation assuming that you have something to learn. The information you receive is only as strong as the questions you ask. Let me draw you a picture. Your parents move a lot and you are always the new kid in school, trying to find ways to fit in. Being curious about people and trying to understand them can be a lifesaver. You can adjust in a new situation whenever necessary, which is helpful when people have very different perspectives. Our brains are wired differently, and we all have a different set of experiences, yet most of us think or expect other people to see things in exactly the same way we do. This is where communication breaks down and the power of curiosity comes in. There is going to be a very limited number of people who see the world the same as you, and in few directions only. It's all good when we agree, but when we don't, chances are it's going to end in frustration, if not an explosion of tempers and fists. But if you become curious about the other person's point of view and how they got there, instead of adopting a take it or leave it kind of attitude, a whole world of information opens up for you. What might impede people from adopting a curious mindset is often fear of appearing unprepared. Or worse, stupid if they make suggestions or ask questions. They assume that some things might not interest others or are too complicated, or tell themselves some other story that talks them out of exploring new ideas. Conscientious practice is required to clearly and meaningfully convey information and ideas. Some available effective communication strategies that may help you: silently shout your thoughts. Speak without saying a word. Say more with fewer words. Instead of arguing, just explain why you are right. To be perfectly clear, speak in riddles. Here are some actual strategies. Be genuine. Being interested and paying attention, as well as actively listening to the speaker and comprehending their message. Simplicity and conciseness. Use simple language and be direct. This makes it easy to communicate clearly and ensures that the message is understood as intended. Compassion and understanding. Understanding the viewpoint of the person you are interacting with, demonstrating empathy. This fosters trust and creates an environment that is conducive to easy communication. Feedback and reaction. Giving comments on the message heard and reacting in a way that is appropriate and respectful are further components of effective communication. This makes sure the message is understood and that any misconceptions are promptly resolved. Let me give you a heads up. Your girl is always on about how much communication is important in your relationship. Then how come it's always you that's spending the whole day figuring out why she is best? Knowledge is knowing a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is not putting it in a fruit salad. She gets it, and she's playing you for a fool. But you are not a complete idiot, at least until we find the missing pieces. There are three major impediments to communication. Cultural impediments. People from diverse cultural backgrounds and notions can encounter cultural obstacles. These may consist of various traditions and convictions and ideals. Cultural differences may make it difficult for two people to understand one another when communicating. Emotional impediments. When people are anxious or feeling emotionally disturbed, barriers develop. As a result, individuals could find it hard to communicate clearly as they might be biased towards their own feelings. It's also difficult to speak calmly and rationally with others if they are angry or sad. Cognitive impediments. When individuals have varying degrees of comprehension or understanding, cognitive barriers may develop. Things like a lack of information or attention are examples of this. Good communication is crucial in personal relationships, professional settings, and societal interactions, as it promotes empathy, reduces misunderstanding, and fosters a sense of connection. In business, it encourages motivational skills, and it's very necessary in the decision-making process. It's alright to have butterflies in your stomach. Just get them to fly information.